Title 17 U.S. Code 512F provides penalties for the deliberate misrepresentation of copyright infringement. The owners and authors of this video, the common denominator, and the Paramystic Broadcast Channel are a nonprofit 501c3 exempt organization and believes in good faith that it constitutes educational fair use, as per Title 17 U.S.C. 107. Persons, agencies, attorneys, and or social media algorithms filing a false or frivolous Digital Millennium Copyright Act complaint may be subject to civil liability. Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Accordingly, viewer discretion is advised.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him
Quinn, you're muted, brother.
Sorry, everyone. Welcome to the show. Sorry about the mute. So, I'm Quinn of What's Really Going On in America. Started my company based on I wanted to get the information myself and to find out the absolute truth, especially though the truth that no one wants to speak about. Let me know where you're coming, listening from in the comments, in the comment section. I would love to know where this is broadcasting. And also, if you go on my website, wrgoa.com/shop, SHOP, you can get one of these wonderful shirts, Human Lives Matter, where I'm trying to stop color division. It is a great message that we as conservatives should be leaning towards instead of furthering color division, and especially if we call ourselves Christians. Well, anyway, so now getting to the point, we got a whole lot of information of corruption that's going on, and every time we speak out, we may win a battle, but then the government hits us harder with harder retaliation. It's almost like payback, revenge. Joe Biden has a campaign on YouTube that says Trump is all about revenge, and he says, but I'm focused on the future. Okay, future for us or for him or his bank account? And more than likely his bank account, as the last 4 years shown. And anyway, so then and then we see the House Republicans do nothing but compromise. They will compromise for bills that will affect us in many negative ways from what for the Democrat wants. And it makes me wonder, are they really compromising, or are they just planning to deceive us through, like Hollywood? People hate each other on screen. Off screen, they're all having a dinner together. And it makes me, and we all know, whoever saw the pictures and everything and heard the stories, the Bushes and the Obamas are friends. Okay? They were friends. And Obama screwed up the economy differently than higher gas prices. It's like, oh, look, I'm Democrat. And look at that Republican raising gas prices to $4, over $4. And then, look, I lowered them. I'm Democrat. But then we got Trump after Obama. Best economy we ever had in my lifetime. And then what do we have? We end up with Biden, who broke the record of Bush. And that's when I found out that we have a uni party. So when you're out there voting, do yourselves a favor. Don't vote for someone just because they're Republican. Because it's even worse than a Democrat. Look for people in other parties that want an opportunity. Like in my state, Democrat versus Republican governor was Doug Mastriano versus Josh Shapiro. Now, there was a libertarian, and I wish I would have remembered the day he came to my town, here in Allentown. And I actually wanted to meet this guy, Matt Hackenberg. He was running for governor too, and he's a libertarian. And I wanted to know everything he was about. And I guarantee you on my website, which will be as soon as we get the presidential candidates for the main elections, you're going to be hearing about every single one, not just the two-party corrupted system. And more than likely, it'll be Trump and a Republican. But what I like about him is he's independent-minded. He doesn't bow down to the government. He doesn't bow down to the deep state. He's like a guy who went into a gang and turned on them. Anyone who knows what it's like to be in a gang knows how hard it is to leave. You get beaten up, you get harassed, you get whatever. It's just not that easy. And look at what the political gangs are doing to Trump. So yeah. So yeah, we got all the information. And then now let me pull up my my notes here. And so the government doesn't listen to us. I mean, how often do we say something? We don't go against this bill, or don't do this, don't do that. In fact, prime example here in my hometown, in my local government, in the school board, Allentown School District, they wanted to raise the tax by 5.2% or 5.3, one of the two. And many people spoke out against it, especially someone with experience in the school board. And he said, if you got to raise it, just raise it 2%, he said, but no more than that. And what did they do? They raised it to 5.3%. And this is after a year or two after the city of Allentown raised the taxes 27%. Now, and this is what's causing us to have homelessness, less jobs. I mean, what business would want to come in Pennsylvania to pay higher taxes in the state when they can get cheaper taxes in other states? And typically, they would be in the red states. And depending on the city, too, and the county, because, the redder it is, the less taxes they pay, the cheaper everything is. And when the national level is red, it's usually a bit cheaper. But, and here's the thing. We also gotta take time to listen to people in other parties. Libertarians, I don't agree with everything any particular party says. Unless if they can back everything up with the Constitution and by quoting the amendment, okay? So, but the libertarians do have many great points. Like taxation is theft. That's definitely one of the biggest things. They want to end the Fed. They want to make the government smaller. They want to basically leave you alone to live your life, and they will protect your constitutional rights. Now, there are some that are for abortion, and I don't agree with that. And so far, with the presidential candidate, running, he says he's for abortion. That's the only thing I don't like about him. That's why I would vote Trump over him. Because I like life. I want people to live. I want to be able to, I want to have a world where we can say what we want, do what we want, don't infringe on other people's rights. The government doesn't tell me I can't do this and that. Can't go fishing without spending $25 for a license. I need $25 to catch food? Yeah, I bet that's something the Native Americans would think would happen in their land 300 years ago. That you would have to pay the government to live off the land. But yeah, take time to listen to people, and there's also, like, in other political parties, there's also the Green Party, which I don't agree with, the Keystone Party, and I'm actually talking to someone, a couple people from the Constitution Party. Now, I don't agree it should be a party. People should be running as individuals, but all we're doing is making more gangs, political gangs. So I did say the government isn't serving us all too much, I should say. I mean, like Susan Wild, she definitely, Marjorie Taylor Greene is more of a congresswoman to me than my congresswoman, Susan Wild. Even though I never spoke to her, I don't even have to speak to her most times. She's basically saying everything that's representing me, as opposed to Susan Wild, who represents herself. And it's all about money with her and with the rest of the government that's in the uni party, meaning which get, democratic privilege. So it makes me wonder, is the First Amendment obsolete yet? And should we go to the Second Amendment? Now, of course, our government wants us to have war. They want conflict between us. I mean, you got a bunch of leftists that's willing to protect the government at every cost and defend them at every cost. They say, tax the rich. Okay. So you're just going to give from private billionaires to political millionaires? So the people in the serving in politics can become millionaires by stealing our money? But without doing any actual work? How does that help? So yeah, I mean, well-regulated militias. What do you think? Do we need that? Do we need that full Second Amendment? Well, okay, no comments. Yeah, huh? Okay. Well, but anyway, there needs to be change. So far, all we get from the right wingers is the next, where I'm from, in my local area, the next election, we're going to do this and that. Without transparency? Are you kidding me? I mean, no audits? What a joke. We're depending on machines to do the counting for us. And you don't think that numbers could be switched so the loser could become the winner and the winner becomes the loser? I mean, isn't that what's really going on with the machines? They're switching the scores, the points. Yeah. So yeah, it's we well, it's so yeah, if you're trusting the game to be fair by corrupted empires, you're definitely gonna lose every single time. And it makes me wonder, are the Republicans cowards or getting paid off? Most of them, I would say, getting paid off and are cowards in some cases. Most other cases, it would be just cowards. And others, just very complacent. They say, oh, well, I lost. It was close. It was only by 5,000 points. Well, that's where switching the numbers comes in. And of course, if you're going to cheat the game, what's the best way to cheat a game? To make it look like you did not cheat. Point blank. You don't make a game look rigged to rig a game. You make it look like it was fair. And then you can fool a mass majority of the people, including those playing a game, while the few in the bleachers watching the game can see the Empire's cheating and making sure the one team doesn't win. But we can't do that with every game. We can't do that with every team that we want to win. We gotta make it look like fair games all over the globe. So you gotta have some people from some teams globally win, if it's fair or not, to make it look like the game's being played fairly. You got it. And if a gambler wanted to, may take some losses with their rigged games to make it look like it's not being cheated. It's like, hey, look, I lost some money in these games. So it doesn't look like they have a sports almanac from the future, like Back to the Future Part 2. If you're getting my drift here. Same way with votes. Can't make it look too obvious. And this is why we're losing our country. Oh yeah. And definitely gotta have you listen to something I found on Getter. I found out today, didn't have time to upload it, but
Del, you're getting arrested right now?
Being arrested.
For what?
For being in my own home.
that's right, you heard it. There was a woman who got arrested in New York City because she was in her own home because and she was told to give up her own home to the squatter. That's right. New York City violated the 14th Amendment with property rights. You know where you all say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? That was brainwashing that you took even in your conservative movement. If you read the 14th Amendment, it says life, liberty, and property, for the government should not seize any of it. Well, here's the government violating the 14th Amendment to a woman, handing her keys away to a squatter. Because for some reason, illegal, documented people have more rights than law-abiding, constitutionally American citizens. And that's right, there's treason. Our government has committed treason all over this country in many, many parts. And what do we, the people, do? Well, we're not fighting the right way. We're saying, oh, wait till Trump gets in. Can we really afford, wait, it's the third month? Can we really afford 8 more months before he gets in? And do you even think many of us will have homes, own our own homes, when you got people illegally, unconstitutionally taking them from us, taking away our jobs with undocumented people going to Tyson Chicken for a job, and they're being given jobs and being paid less, basically slave labor. Really? So yeah. So when are we going to wake up and realize our government is not working for us no more, and that we either need more ordinary citizens, such as Curtis Lewa as governor of New York City. And really, I think he should check his votings. Because in reality, I think he won. But no one does audits except for one person that did an audit. He said he was going to do it, win, lose, or draw. And that was my buddy Steve Lynch. And there was one woman who investigated her election, and both found a lot of corruption in both of theirs. We got the information. The government's not working for us after we spoke out. And what are you going to do? Keep speaking out? Or are you going to wait until we go into a communist country to where the Constitution becomes no more? Because once that happens, it's one world order that's coming. One world government. We can either take action now, or we can sit and do nothing. And you know who's gonna not enjoy freedom that we once enjoyed? If it happens in our lifetime, it'll either be your kids or your grandkids or your great-great-grandkids. That's gonna, there will be, I think it'll be your grandkids kids and grandkids that's gonna get to see freedom until it's all taken away from us. And there'll be your great-great-grandkids that will never know freedom. Ever. And it's all because we do the same thing over and over and expect different results. We gotta do better. And many of you, listening may be thinking, who's this guy thinking he knows better, or whatever. But I see it. I'm living it. I never thought I'd live to see the day when, all this is going on. I've seen bad, just never this bad. And it makes me think, you say you love your country, and maybe you do, but you're unwilling to defend it at every cost needed. And I really think we need to, do the Second Amendment at this point. We have the right to do it as human beings. I mean, what is it going to take for you to stand up? Do you have to lose everything? Does the government have to arrest you too for being in your own home so someone else can have it? Like that woman? I don't know, guys. We're becoming, New York and California are pretty much a communist state right now. But, and as we do nothing, as we are many of us are divided among each other. I'm fortunate to have this wonderful couple guys who doing this network that helped me start this, podcast. I'm very fortunate to have someone like Mindy Robinson who loves patriotism and will help those who speak the truth. She even modeled off one of my t-shirts, which is awesome. I mean, she has a great heart and she's highly intelligent. My buddy Steve Lynch, and I'm hoping to get him onto this show. And he's like me. He will speak his mind. And and there's a woman that her name is Christy Tatel, and she helps me run my Facebook page sometimes. She may even go live from time to time on that page. I gave her full permission to do whatever because I trust her to speak the truth. And so yeah, there are those of us who are united. But then I am so sorry about that doorbell, everyone. Someone kept hitting the button over and over and over back there, if you heard it. But anyway, so yeah, we do have we are somewhat united, but then you got the Daily Wire versus Candace Owens. Oh my goodness. I gotta soundproof this wall. But yeah, and I mean, Candace Owens and the Daily Wire, all because of what could be possibly a simple misunderstanding. They terminated her, or they ended the relationship. and the thing is, I don't believe she is anti-Semitic or whatever they claim her to be. She's just saying America needs to stop funding wars. And I'm with that. If your household was not taken care of, you would need to put your household before you help someone else. Because how can you give to someone something you don't have? America is in debt severely. Don't you think we should I'm calling out the Daily Wire on this. Don't you think America needs to fix their home, fix our country before we try and fix someone else's? But here we are, divided over a comment. Last week I spoke, calling out Candace Owens and Kanye West with their White Lives Matter. Let me say this again. I'm not divided by it. I'm willing to have a discussion with Candace Owens and Kanye West about what they did and why I thought it was stupid. And And hopefully they would agree that we should just go with human lives matter, because at the end of the day, what three colors do humans truly value the most? Green, silver, and 24 karat gold. The only three the colors of money. You know? So why do we have to have a color war, skin color war, or a war against people in uniforms? Blue uniforms or black uniforms or whatever uniforms people are in. Defund the police. It's fine if you want to support the police, but only support individual police officers that do their job well. Like Hadasakwa Police Department, they are awesome. Some of the best people ever. But then you got the NYPD that has a policy that says no recording audio or video in the precinct. Now, it's funny that the courts, after Long Island audit, went to court with them. They took down the signs like they're supposed to, but the law only applies to Long Island audit that he's allowed in the whole entire earth to record. Thankfully, he's not fighting for himself. He's fighting for all of us. He's taking it back to court on our behalf. Now, that's what a true patriot does. Fights for all. And that's what we need to do. And speaking of being united, most of you all were still using places like Amazon. And you're eating at places like buying now. And buying Whole Foods, owned by Amazon. And then, you got Walmart, among other places that are super woke, and we're still spending money in these places. Yeah, why? Why would you, that's something we need to, stop too. Support, every time we spend money on a place anywhere that supports, that will give their money to democratic values, we end up destroying ourselves. Or look at Fox News. We all quit watching it as soon as, most of us quit watching it as soon as, they were found out to give into leftist values. But yet many of our politicians, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, still goes to them. They should know that that Fox News doesn't share our values. Even though they report our values, they limit it. And we've seen that with Tucker Carlson, to who I rather listen to than anyone on Fox. And let me put it this way. Giving money to, watching Fox is like giving up your money to CNN. They may have conservative news that gets the truth, but they won't tell you the entire truth. They don't hide anything. They don't they give you just enough to make it sound near perfect. I mean, I'd rather, go to OANN, Newsmax, but I'm even careful with them because you don't know if they'll divide the conservatives. So I don't know. It's I wish we would more united. I wish we would come up with different ideas on how to save this country. Because we're losing it. We're doing nothing. We barely are doing anything different. There are those who are doing something. And I would just want to see some change. And you know what? Another thing, most of us are on Facebook still. Why are we not switching to Gab? Most of us on YouTube. Why aren't we switching to Rumble? Most of us now X, thankfully, got free speech. But when X was censoring the heck out of us, why did we not follow Trump to Truth Social? Why? We had Gedda and Gab, and Gab is like another Facebook, only it's totally free speech. No censorship at all. In fact, they refuse to get the machine to censor anything. So the Apple Store and the Google Store told them they can't have their platform as an app on their platforms. I think they're worth supporting. But it seems like to me that people rather still give Zuckerberg all the business, all the money. And that's not good. Because we're giving money to a guy who would sell us out. In fact, he is selling us out in every way possible. And we gotta be smart with who we're spending our money on. I really would like to see change in the world, but if you're unwilling, if you're unwilling to do whatever it takes to make every woke company get the Bud Light treatment, then I don't know what to say. They may not be saving this country. Now, if we're going to spend our money on the very people who would sell us out, and if we're not willing to take more drastic steps, Maxine Waters said we need to be more confrontational. And this was after a riot, destruction. Ugh. So, when are we going to do something different? This is what it comes down to. I know I'm repeating myself, but sometimes it needs to be said 100 times. Something needs to be said 100 times before someone thinks maybe he has a point. At least that's my goal, is for you to think about it, to try something new. Now, because we were late today, I'm going to end this by saying, people, we need to unite now, and we need more drastic plans. I want to keep it as peaceful as possible, but our government's not making it easy to stay peaceful. So I'm going to say good night to you, and I will see you next week.